What's up, guys? Jordan from Bennett's Customs, back on yet another episode of this bloody car. Yeah, like 17 or 18 days to go. Pretty scary, and it looks like that. But we'll get there. We will definitely get there. Anyways, on this episode, the core motor is coming out. The 21 stud is going in. Just so I can finish or try and fit the new radiator that I have. So that's going to be a huge process. So I need to make sure that I just know exactly where everything is going to be. And then I can hook up that transmission back up to the other one with the proper shaft and the clutch fork and everything in there. So I can start to make the brake and clutch pedal as well. So yeah, we're just gonna see how far we get. But basically this motor's coming out, new one's in, and then we can keep kind of ticking boxes. So let's just get straight into it. Make sure you guys like and subscribe, hit that notifications, and let's get into another episode of the race car. So this is the generator fan setup that I'll be using, or like I probably won't be using this exact generator, but it'll be very similar. If not, I'll put a Power Master 12 volt one on that I do have. So, but what I'm doing is just trying to get the fan set up, and just to know, where everything's going to sit in regards to the radiator itself. So it's really tight. I have to make a top and a bottom for the radiator, so I'm going to cut those off now, and then we're going to try and hold it in there and see, what we can come up with as far as a shape and idea. So let's get into it. This is the tiny little radiator that I'll be using, and fingers crossed it's going to be enough. I have no idea if it's going to be or not, but let's all cross our fingers and hope that it is, because it's kind of the only thing that actually fits in there. So, but the fan can sit really nice and close. It's got ample amount. It's basically the same size for the fan, so that's good. It is a 3-core, so that's a bonus. But obviously I need to run a whole new top for it with a cap and a bottom to house for 4 inlets for a flathead. So this was obviously for like a Datsun 1200 or something. Someone just mentioned it in a comment, and it's gonna kind of work for what we need it. It is a fancy, shiny new aluminum radiator, but I don't really care. I just want it to work, and the chances of it working are probably slim, but we're gonna do it anyways, and then we'll just run it and see if it gets warm or not. And if it does, then we'll, run some water wetter in there, and it'll hopefully drop it down a little bit. But let's get some measuring done, bit of cardboard template action, and we'll see what we can come up with. messy cutting aluminum. A little tip, maybe not a good tip, I don't know, for you aluminum welding purists, you might not do it, but there's all sorts of different like waxes and cutting compounds that you can put on your zip disc. I honestly just use a generic like 50-cent candle from the dollar store. These work amazing. Basically just run a few passes on your grinder and this thing cuts through it like butter. And then obviously you just have to make sure prior to doing any welding or anything you want it to be super clean. So I go, I'll sand and clean it really well. That is essentially what I've removed. I'm going to do the same to the top as well. And then I did just make a bit that I was going to bend up, but I was looking at the water pumps and the width of them, and then I was looking at this, and rather than having to like plumb up a bunch of little stainless elbows, I want to be able to just do like a straight shot. It's like basically have it from right off the water pump. It's just a bit of hose that goes straight to it. So I need to make the bottom, it's going to be about 100 mil, and then I'll break that, but it's actually going to be a little bit wider. So it's 370 mil to the very outside of the water pump outlets. So I'm going to go 400. So we'll have about maybe 35 mil out each side, and then I'll just box that out, and then we'll have the outlets hanging out on the side. And then with the top, I'm going to probably angle this so I can kind of get it up like the curvature of the actual grill. I do sort of need to bring this somewhere. I don't know if I'll pop it out the top of the grill. I might just do your kind of generic little elbow, they would call it, or just something that is super low profile. I don't want like an aluminum neck hanging out at the top of that thing either. I just want the whole thing to be smooth, even with the original hood and the dual carb setup that we're going to be hanging out. I don't want to do that anymore. I just want everything to be under, super simple, real sleek, and the only thing that's going to be a massive eye catcher is those nickel plated exhausts. So we are going to cut the top of this one off, and then I'm going to actually probably break and build this like to come out kind of like a 33 or 34 Ford style radiator, just to add a bit more. So and then I'll put some cardboard on these so we don't damage them prior, but it's right now it's okay. It's just resting on this on the table, and I'm aware that they are there. So let's get this cut off. So this is kind of the layout that we have to do. So if you can see, it's probably kind of tough, but like there's not much room at all inside here. There's so much curve in this grill that it's super tough to try and get anything to actually fit in there. So I got my trusty cardboard, and I'm gonna just make some templates and see what we can create in order to make this work. I think I should be able to do it. I'm actually kind of confident that I'll be able to get it pretty set up, relatively nice. So we've kind of just mocked it up. This is relatively close to where it's going to be sitting. As you can see, it's not a very big radiator. Still a little bit worried as I'm doing this whole process, but that's okay. We'll find out. It'll either work or it won't. And if it doesn't, well, we tried. So I'm gonna do some measurements now. I already have the measurements for the bottom. It's really simple. This is kind of the idea on the bottom, so it's just a little bit wider, longer, and we'll be able to house the outlets, and we'll utilize just 2 straight bits, so we won't have to do anything funky. With the top, basically same thing, so it'll just, you know, come up straight in and then lock it in right in here. And I'm going to build this out too, so it'll probably come out to about here. So let's make some cardboard templates. We'll tape it up and yeah, see what it looks like. So this is kind of the idea with the cardboard, and this was the top, and what I've done is actually cut 45, and what I'm going to do is utilize this whole setup, and it's going to go like that and then pop out the side. So I think that'll work out really nice. Right now I've just created my new bottom. Those are my outlets. These are the pieces I will weld on. They are very thick walled, but it's all I had, and no steel shop is open this early, so I'm just going to weld them on. So they're nice and warm already from grinding them, so that'll be good for a little bit of preheat. They're quite hot. So I'm just going to sit. We're going to weld those on, then we'll break these, have a look at it, make sure it's all right. So this was originally the bottom that I just made, and that was going to sit inside there, and thought it was all sweet, but then realized these bottom pickups I put them on the wrong end. They're supposed to be right down nice and low so it picks up all the water. So if I were to sit it like that, there's just a nice dead bit that's probably going to be sitting down there. So I'm going to have to flip this upside down and close that in, cut a hole and put that on top so that it's down near the bottom. And what I've just done, I've cut the bung out of the bottom of the old radiator piece, but we don't need that. And this piece, I'm just going to throw it in the lathe, spin the weld off, and we'll drill a hole and we'll put it down here so we have a drain plug. So this is the piece that I just bent up in the brake, and that will now be the bottom of the radiator, not the top anymore. So I'm just going to tack this in and then I'll show you what it looks like on the bottom. Right, so I've flipped it over. So this was originally the bottom, but kind of screwed up these. So now I've cut a hole. The radiator, like this, is going to sit directly on top, like that. I'm going to do a whole pass all the way around, and then I'll weld all this up. So it actually is quite nice. It's got a nice big bit on the bottom, and then kind of comes around here. We got our little drain plug there. So now we're just going to weld this in. Okay, so we got the whole bottom all welded up. Fingers crossed there's no pinholes. I've kind of gone over it, doesn't look too bad. So now we're gonna get this thing welded to that. Okay, so you can see we've got the lower portion mounted, and this is gonna somewhat sit like that. So I got a little bit to work with at the top, and I can bring it out a little bit. and then hopefully, yeah, there'll be some more room in there. So I'm gonna try and make something happen. We got the top welded in. Now we need to start boxing it in and put the inlets on it as well. Okay, so still working on the top. We got this bit put in. I've tapered it down so then where the grill comes up, it won't make any contact. Now we just need to make these side pieces that I've cut out with the cardboard. I'll trace them out onto some aluminum. And then once these two are done, then we'll start to shape the top bit. Once the top bit's done, then we will mount wherever this is gonna sit. We'll put this in there as well. So the highest point will be the radiator cap. It'll flow in, go down through and out. I don't know. Maybe it'll work, maybe it won't. Okay, so I've got the top radiator cap fitted and the outlet or inlet radiator hose mounts, they're just tacked in. I'm just going to wait till I get the lid on it just before welding close to here. I just don't want it to distort too much. But you can see it's obviously a pretty complex setup, you know, not crazy, but enough to be somewhat annoying. So right now I'm just going to lay some cardboard down on here, trace this out, cut it out of some alley, roll these edges, and we'll get this thing basically welded up, and that's like, you know, job done. And then we'll fit it. I may even cut these sides off. They're pretty design as far as mounts go, and just weld some nice heavy aluminum angle on there, and then I can have, you know, 3 bolts on either side that actually hold this thing in place. So right now I'll just put some cardboard down. So we have it basically complete. Yeah, that was a big job trying to make this, and you know, utilizing parts off the original radiator core and the tops. So I was able to use the cap and the drain plug, and then obviously made everything else. But it fits really nice. It's super snug. You know, it's not the nicest looking thing, but honestly, once it's painted black and it's under there, you're never gonna see it. So it's got a really nice kind of roll through here. So it actually, like that grill shell, it fits perfect when it's in there. Actually, kind of, sort of, not really. Yeah. But you get the idea. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm probably gonna cut these off and put something a little bit more heavy duty on there with like a really nice, maybe just like a 40 by 40 4 mil aluminum angle. And then I'll be able to do 3 bolts on either side, and then I can just make like a little something that mounts to the frame itself. So yeah, basically she's good to go. I just need to get a couple things, some radiator hoses. Luckily I was able to find a pair of Ford USA in an old bag. Like, these are probably from ages ago, so that was cool, and a pile of stuff that I had. So let's mock it up, we'll see what it looks like, and we'll get some measurements for some mounts, but I'm really happy with the way that turned out.
When Willie comes round, you better run for cover, or he's gonna keep you up all night. He's gonna take you out and get you lit and call your brother. You're in a plate, out in a fight. He'll leave you knocked down, sitting crying for your mother. And when you're on the ground, he'll pick you up and say, have another boy. You better run for cover when Willie comes around. When Willie comes by, better hide your money, or he's gonna take you for a ride. You'll have to spend it all, and he won't stop till you're talking funny. Be waking up wishing you had died. And in the morning when your head is split and your nose is bloody, you can take my tip, and next time you can thank me, buddy. Next time hide your money when Willie comes around. Slow down, we can't keep up. And when you come round, leaving us beat up. And Billy, he's a 2-time cheater, 1-time lover, and a woman stealer.
So we got the new sides welded on, and they're just stitched on both sides all the way around. That's 40 by 40 by 4 mil angle, and then I just made these little tabs, and they are housing these little rubber bushings. So what I can do now is actually get the something to fix to the bottom of these, and we'll throw a nut in, and basically the whole thing will just drop down straight into something. So we're going to start that now.
'Cause if you step out the door, he's gonna step right in without a sound and take her home and leave you sleeping on the floor, and leave you dreaming about the one who left you for another. And when you're on the ground, he'll wake you up, say thank you, brother. Next time hold your lover when Willie comes around.
Radiator is in, sort of. I didn't show you on camera, but I just quickly whipped up these stainless pipes. They're a little bit thicker than I usually use, but I kind of just had the materials here, so it kind of worked out. And then I did fit some clamps. Look, again, these probably aren't what I'd use. I love to use those early aircraft style ones where they're kind of like two round bars that come over with a nut. They look really, really nice. So eventually I will change them out, but for now, they definitely look a lot better than your standard clamps. Oh, actually, oh no, that's not one. But anyway, so we have it fit. There is ample amount of fan clearance. Again, up top, it's probably got about 15 mil, so it should be nice and close enough. Even with a bit of the flex of the blades, it shouldn't hit. All right, that's basically a wrap on the radiator. You might notice a change in scenery behind me. We got it across the street. Got a good mate of ours, Angus. He's helping me with a few things just to try and tick a few boxes. But basically the radiator is in and fitted, and the only thing I have to do that we won't have in this video but will be in a future one is just the little bracket that will actually house the radiator to the frame. But that's just going to be something simple and easy to do. But yeah, virtually with that nose cone on, still able to get to the radiator. It should all kind of work, and fingers crossed it cools it, but we won't know until we start the motor out. So I'm kind of confident it should be enough, but we'll see what happens. So we got a week to go. So we're still going to be grinding on this thing and try and get as many videos out as we can. So we will see you guys on another episode. Make sure you like and subscribe, hit that notifications button, and all of you. And happy Father's Day to all the Australian fathers out there. I know it's not Happy Father's Day in North America. I hope it's not, because I haven't called Dad. But make sure you guys all have your fingers crossed this week. Just maybe even your toes too. Just you know, give us that small miracle of making this thing actually happen. So we'll see you on another episode.